My name is Taylor. I was recently diagnosed with BPD, CPTSD, and agoraphobia. When I first heard the diagnosis of BPD, I went through the list of all the stuff, and it finally was like, this is me, this is what I feel like. It was like feelings of abandonment and having issues with struggling with identity and self-worth, and it was like, okay, this is what I have. And a lot of my anxiety and stuff like that has to do with stuff that happened to me, and it all kind of made sense with the PTSD thing too, because I have a lot of issues with just meeting people in general, and agoraphobia especially. I can't leave my house a lot of times. It's really hard for me to just open the door and go outside, and it kind of, it was nice to know that it's not just a weird me thing. It was something that a lot of people do struggle with. I know a lot of people have a stigma of hating people with BPD because we are seen as manipulative and untrustworthy kind of sometimes, but I think it's important to remember that we know this sometimes and we're not happy with it either. We hate that part of ourselves. A lot of it is also struggling with identity, and people will cycle through different things. I did a lot when I was younger. I had phases of my life where I would solely devote to that, and then something would switch and I'd never picked it up again, and that was always kind of jarring for the people around me, and I never really had consistent friend bases because of it. It's really common for people with BPD to struggle with friends, especially close friends, because we are so kind of hot and cold sometimes. And sometimes when we get really close to somebody, it freaks us out and we self-sabotage those relationships. So it's really hard to find somebody you really truly can call your best friend or that you can confide in. For me, I only recently have been vocal about my mental illness with other people, and I have a good friend who is also diagnosed with BPD that I do talk to sometimes. So I think it's important that once diagnosed, especially with borderline personality disorder, it's good to find other people and go to group therapy. When you're finally able to talk to somebody with you struggles with the same thing, it feels really good because you feel validated, you don't feel lonely, you don't feel crazy. On a good day, I will wash my face, I'll take a shower, I'll probably leave the house, whether it's for going to the farmer's market or needing to actually go to the grocery store. I can do it. I make a plan in my head and I plan it out, and then I'm capable of doing it, and that's a good day. And a bad day is I don't take care of myself. I just want to sit in bed all day, and scenarios run through my head of I haven't heard from so-and-so in a week, so they hate me, and I haven't talked to my parents in a while. Do they still love me? Are they proud of me? Or do they also hate me? Because I feel like I'm kind of at a point in my life where I need things to get on track because I'm 26, and I feel like now is I need to get together, and I worry a lot that I'm almost too late on fixing myself. So a bad day, I really do dwell on that kind of ideas that I'm a lost cause. Day to day, I try to write in a journal, especially when I'm having bad thoughts. I'll write down when I'm thinking about that, and then I'll kind of revisit it later and counteract those thoughts of if so-and-so hates me because I haven't heard from them in a week, and I can say, well, they got a new job and they just had a baby, and I can sit there and try to counteract it, and I try to keep that up because it does help when those thoughts kind of creep back in. It's really helpful to have somebody to talk to, and I would definitely need a resource that's very handy to be able to talk to somebody when I'm having a rough day, especially when it's maybe been a rough week and the person I live with doesn't want to hear anymore. It would be very nice to be able to unload for that little bit of time, and when I'm having a good week, maybe offer the same to somebody else, be that ear. Especially I know with my friends, sometimes when he's having a rough day, he'll just tell me all of the thoughts that he's having, and I'll sit there and walk through them and say, do you really feel this way, or do you really think that this is the truth? And we can kind of work through it together. I was very young when I started getting help for mental illness. My mother was very sick when I was young, and mental illness runs in my family. So I really wanted to get my experience out because I've got a lot with it. I know there's other people who have been in the same thing, who have grown up with a parent who was severely mentally ill, and I know what that's like to struggle with that, and be an adult now and have a different relationship and know that this person is not the same person it was, and still having that trauma with them But moving forward and starting a new, part of my life, especially now with a new diagnosis, I feel like I have a world of opportunity ahead of me. I'd say that you're not alone, that a lot of people have it, and especially nowadays, people are being more accurately diagnosed with it, and so there's a lot more research being done in order to help it. I'd say CBT and DBT, which are cognitive behavioral therapy and dialectical behavioral therapy, are both very strong tools for it because there isn't a lot of medication available for treating BPD. So keeping that in mind and keeping in mind that you're not alone can really help you out.